There we go. Good morning. We read each Sunday from Rays of the One Light by Swami Kriyananda, which are commentaries on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. This week, the law of karma, bondage, or self-release, soul release. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The Epistle of St. Paul to the Galatians contains this oft-quoted statement, "Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." In Autobiography of a Yogi, Paramahansa Yogananda tells a story from the life of the Benares saint, Trilanga Swami. A skeptic once determined to expose Trilanga as a charlatan. A large bucket of calcium lime mixture used in whitewashing walls was placed before the Swami. "Master," the materialist said in mock reverence, "I have brought you some clabbered milk. Please drink it." Trilanga unhesitatingly drained to the last drop the container full of burning lime. In a few minutes, the evildoer fell to the ground in agony. "Help, Swami, help," he cried. "I am on fire. Forgive my wicked test." The great yogi broke his habitual silence. "Scoffer," he said, "you did not realize when you offered me poison that my life is one with your own. Except for my knowledge that God is present in my stomach, as in every atom of creation, the lime would have killed me. Now that you know the divine meaning of boomerang, never again play tricks on anyone." The well-purged sinner, healed by Trilanga's words, slunk feebly away. Yogananda goes on to say, the reversal of pain was not due to any volition of the master, but came about through unerring application of the law of justice, which upholds creation's farthest swinging orb. Men of God realization, like Trilanga, allow the divine law to operate instantaneously. They have banished forever all thwarting cross-currents of ego. Not by reason alone, but by self-realization are the ins and outs of destiny fully understood. Their web, though tied forever to the post of ego motivation, is too intricate to be perceived as a single thread. Only great masters can see it with clarity. It is visible to them in all its workings, not from within the tangle, but from above in superconsciousness. As Sri Krishna said in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, "He who beholds inaction in action, and action in inaction, is wise among men. He is one with the Spirit. He has attained the true goal of action, perfect freedom." Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om, Om, Om.
Thank you. And thank you, Surendra. And thank you, choir. And thank you, everybody. Thank you all for being here. And what a wonderful morning. This is such an interesting topic to me, karma. And, you know, in the world as a whole, I think people often think of karma, and sometimes I fall into this myself. It's like, because you see things that are going on in the world, and you're thinking, where is there justice, you know? And then I'll think, well, at least, you know, at least their karma's going to get them. But however, we learn that that's not really how karma works. It's not God sitting up there going, you've been bad and you're going to suffer, or you've been good and you're going to be rewarded. It just is. It permeates all the levels from consciousness through energy into the material world. And, you know, it's one of the physics principles of motion. I think it's the third law of motion, that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And as the reading told us, you know, what you sow, that's what you will reap. Because you can imagine, actually, this was interesting. I heard somebody talking about growing mushrooms. And they were really concerned that if they grew mushrooms, that they would end up with something poisonous. And so people were trying to convince them that, you know, if you use poisonous mushroom spores, yes, you'll get poisonous mushrooms. But if you're using, you know, whatever kind you're attempting to grow, of course, you can only get what you sow, only what you plant. If you plant corn, you don't expect broccoli to come up there, you know? So that's what karma is like. It's just is. I looked up karma to see what's the root for the word karma. And interestingly, it's the same as the root for kriya, and it just means action. And so there's action and reaction. One of the really important things about karma, though, is not that it happens. Well, that's pretty interesting, actually. But what do we do with karma? Here we are on Earth, in these bodies. Things are happening in our lives. Circumstances come about that we think we didn't ask for, but obviously we did, or it wouldn't be happening to us. I wanted to just point out, too, everything you want to know about karma and reincarnation, you can find in this little book that's right out in the shelves available. There's a whole series, The Wisdom of Yogananda. This is volume 2, all about karma and reincarnation, because they go hand in hand. The real question with karma, I think, is to ask, which is the second chapter in this book, by the way, and then there's more added to it from other sources, but how should we face our karma? What can we do? One of the first things, which we just heard about, is gratitude. Some years ago, we used to have, in the fall, always a fall retreat. And one time we were, I don't know, at a retreat center, monastery or something, somewhere in Washington. And one of the things we did during that weekend time, we spent a lot of time in silence. But all of the affirmations for self-healing from that book, so there's probably 52 or 53 maybe even, because sometimes you end up with an extra Sunday every fourth year or so. Anyway, we each drew one of those affirmations, and it happened that I got gratitude. So this is such a familiar affirmation for me. And our challenge throughout the weekend, as we were walking or whatever we were doing, as often as we could remember it, to say that affirmation with concentration, the way we had been taught. So it was just such a blessing for me to be in that mindset of gratitude throughout that whole weekend. And just, it's like that mental imagery, that poetic imagery of our gratitude rising with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. It's helped me so many times through the years when I'm trying to get myself to feel gratitude for one thing. It's so easy to slide off in the other direction and feel as though we're being put upon in some way or another by what's happening in our lives. And when you look at the way people talk about karma, there's, good karma and bad karma. And if you do good things, you'll get good karma. And if you do bad things, you'll get bad karma. But really, all karma is good karma in the sense that it leads us where we need to go, which is back to God. So Yogananda had said at one time, he explained things in so many different ways because we all have different understanding. So some way that he said what our purpose is here on earth would be the right thing for every person to hear eventually. But one I love is that we're here on earth to be educated and entertained. And he did add Riley, but alas, how few are either educated or entertained. We can, however, take that attitude with the circumstances of our lives. We know that we draw to us the lessons we need. And so our challenge is to view the ups and downs, the waves on the surface of the infinite sea, with a serene mind. Just watching what happens in an interested way, but not taking things personally, not being attached to what we think should be happening. Another important thing that is mentioned is the need to forgive others and ourselves, because hanging on to any thoughts of, that wasn't fair is not the way to get free from our karma at all. We need to look for why is this coming to me? And we often don't know. It could be something from some previous life. And unlike the situation that we heard about with Trilanga Swami, where it was instantaneously evident, for many of us, there's a separation in time, and so our minds aren't able to kind of figure out what I do, what I do. But we can be assured that we did something, or else we wouldn't be in that circumstance. In last week's blog from Devi, Nayaswami Devi, she was writing a little bit about what she had been talking about last week about reincarnation. And a question she said she often encourages people to ask themselves when they're in circumstances they aren't very happy with is, what is it that I'm supposed to learn from this? Again, if this process is for us to be educated as well as entertained, we have to try to figure out what is it that we're supposed to learn. There's great lessons, and we hear this week after week. I was about to say, we learn great lessons from life, and that's just from the, we'll be hearing it more later, the Festival of Light. That little bird was told to learn great lessons from life and to share what he'd received. And alas, he abandoned his mission. And that's what we often do too. One of the helpful things we can do is to just accept pleasantly whatever comes our way, not accept grudgingly. This hits home for me very strongly, because sometimes it's like I know the way that would be helpful for me to respond. I just don't always want to do it. It's like I try to then convince Divine Mother that she has it wrong and my way is better. And of course, that you can imagine does not ever end well. It's like when I can finally agree and do so with an open heart and a pleasant attitude makes all the difference. Another way is to identify with God as the doer. When the karma, the rule of karma only is applicable in the realm where karma happens. And so karma only accrues in the realm where our ego is active. So if we are able to raise our consciousness and be in a place where we're not in our ego, then we're outside the realm of karma, which is, I think, very encouraging thought. Because, if you think about what, millions of lifetimes perhaps, and even just in this one, or maybe even in the last week, how many times have we, messed up one way or another? And you just start to feel like it's overwhelming. How can you ever have enough good actions to overcome all your karma? Because even good actions bring karma, just better karma, which is to help us get out of karma altogether. In the Yogananda often referred to life as a cosmic picture show, and he was saying, well, all life's a play, and we play our little roles. And he said, you can play the part of a villain, but of course, then the villain's consequences will accrue to you if you're playing that role. And yes, again, it's only a play, so it's only in that atmosphere that the consequences happen, but still, why live in misery if you don't need to, even though you know that that's just on that one level. The seeds of karma, which we talk about again every week during the fire ceremony, and we are putting those grains of rice and we're bringing up that energy up our astral spines. Week after week, we're reminded that seeds of karma exist in us because of our own choices, of course, but there are ways to start to eliminate them, to destroy them or weaken them at least, so we have better options. Concentration, meditation, the light of superconsciousness. So how much time can we spend in superconsciousness rather than in subconsciousness or even in our conscious minds? Right actions without selfish desires for the fruits of our actions. Our will when it's guided by wisdom. Those are all ways in which we can change the way that karma is impacting our lives. One of the most important ways, I think, it's very important, but also a great, great blessing that we've been given is the opportunity to work with a guru. And it's the grace of the guru, the grace of God, happens really in two ways to help us. And one is that the guru knows exactly what we need, each of us, and can help us, therefore, move more quickly through the things we need to do to eliminate our accumulated karma and to go beyond it. And also, the guru often takes on some of the karma of the devotee, which is astounding to me. It's like, there's a book that Ashanaya Swami wrote called Loved and Protected, and it's many, many stories of people who had some experience in their life, and I'm sure if you think about your life, you've probably had experiences where what you thought was going to happen or what you felt you deserved under certain circumstances was alleviated. One of my things was I had a period of months where I just had this nagging thought all the time that I was going to be in a car accident. And I would, do different things to get out of that mindset because, hello, magnetism, you're going to draw it to you. But it just kept being there, and it kept being there. And I would have dreams about it, and just when I get in my car and be driving along, I'm thinking, oh my God, is this the day, my car's going to be destroyed, maybe I'll be killed or whatever, who knows. But what actually happened is one day finally, I was coming out of a side road and turning right onto the main, some busy road. And a car pulled up to the left of me. They were going to go left. And so they were slightly blocking my view. And instead of being sensible and waited till they moved so I could have a good vision of what was coming, I didn't. I made the other choice, and it was kind of like in my mind, I'm thinking, I've waited long enough. So I make my right turn, and whack. But miraculously, this person stopped, and they're driving this big SUV or whatever. I have my little Mazda, and I'm thinking, okay. But turned out neither of our vehicles were damaged whatsoever, even though we heard this big thunk. And this person pulled over, and I'm waiting for him to get out of his, big car and come yell at me. No. Ma'am, are you all right? It's like totally really a non-event, or to the extent that it was an event, it was wonderful. This person was so kind about it, and it's like, I know sometimes it's hard to see or hard to wait or whatever, and just totally, wrote it off. I just thought, how did that happen? How did this energy that's been hanging over me all this time turn out to be so little and so easily dealt with? I want to read you a selection from Whispers from Eternity, and this is one of the, it's not super long, but it's longer than some, so I wanted to quit talking and start reading. I love this one. Make me see that I am but an actor in the cosmic motion picture. It's number 75 in Whispers from Eternity. Beholding the ever-changing sound and motion pictures of life, I am aware that this turbulent dancing show is only a vast illusion. The tragedies, comedies, and paradoxes of life, the dreams of birth and death, the changing scenes and places that surge around us, all of these are nothing but movies designed to engage us in the cosmic illusion. O divine operator, with thy cosmic vibratory light, thou dost show us ever new thrills, a motion picture true to all our five senses, keeping us amused and entertained through sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. O magic operator, thy true seeming spectacle beams daily onto the screens of our consciousness. I take it as thy grace that I've been chosen to play both tragic and comic parts of thy drama. I am happy to have acted all those parts, both of sorrow and of joy. Still, Father, give me now and then a few days of respite from my task. Let me retire to my closet of introspection, stand before my own thought audiences, and behold with laughing heart all the tragedies and comedies I have enacted. Teach me to look upon all that happens in my life with a pleased, interested attitude. that at the end of each episode, no matter how sad or difficult, I may exclaim, "Oh, that was a good show, full of thrills, suspense, and excitement. I am happy to have seen it, and I have learned much from it for my own benefit." Amen. And now I believe we have another song.